She cheated with multiple men, and her family helped her hide it. My wife's shocking secrets destroyed our marriage. I never thought my marriage would collapse in a single afternoon, but it did. One random Reddit post exposed every lie my wife had ever told me. 7 months of betrayal, hidden lovers, her family covering for her, all while I thought we were building a future together. What followed was raw, devastating, and nothing I was prepared for. This is the story of how I lost the woman I loved, discovered who she truly was, and found the strength to walk away. Brace yourself, because this one hurts. If you had asked me 3 months ago what my biggest problem was, I would have said something like, I work too much, or I should probably eat fewer burritos. I thought my marriage was stable. Not perfect, but solid. We're both 32, been together 9 years, married for 6. No kids. Nice little house outside Austin. Golden retriever named Milo. You know, that very standard, we made it starter pack life. My wife, Ava, is one of those people everyone loves instantly. Loud laugh, big brown eyes, always the center of attention. I'm Ethan. I'm more in the background. I work in IT security. I like things organized, predictable. She's spontaneous. I'm the guy holding the bag while she's dancing on a table at a wedding. I always thought those differences balanced us. The first real off sign was small. Ava started guarding her phone. Not in an obvious, cartoon villain way, just a little more screen down, a little more, oh, it's just work stuff. She started spending more time at the gym and with the girls. She also began getting irritated by very small things, how I folded laundry, how I stacked dishes, how I breathed when I was tired. I told myself it was stress. Her marketing job was ramping up, long hours, new boss. I wanted to be supportive, not suspicious. Here's the plot twist. I didn't catch her by checking her phone. I didn't catch her by tracking her location. I caught her because of a Reddit post. I was on my lunch break at work, scrolling r/relationship_advice like I always do. Half for entertainment, half for, maybe I'll learn how to be a better husband. I see this post near the top. I, 29, am sleeping with a married man from work, and I think I might have ruined his life. Curiosity wins. I click. She describes a man named E who works in IT security, who wears glasses, drives a silver Civic, married to a social butterfly who works in marketing, no kids, lives outside Austin, has a golden retriever that adores him. My stomach dropped. I actually laughed out loud at first because I thought, wow, what are the odds? That's oddly specific. I kept reading, expecting some detail that would prove it wasn't me. Instead, every sentence tightened the knot in my chest. She wrote about company happy hours, late nights at the office, secret hotel meetups, and how the married man told her he felt trapped in his marriage with his loud, dramatic wife, Ava. That's my wife's name. At first I thought, this has to be some strange coincidence. Maybe there's another Ava in marketing, another IT guy with a golden retriever, right? My logical brain was trying to protect me. But then she mentioned the exact restaurant near our house where Ava and I go almost every Friday night. Same patio, same drink order. Then she slipped and used initials. E. A. I was sitting in my office chair, holding my phone in my hand, and it felt like the floor moved. Like those few seconds when an elevator stops and your stomach goes weird. Milo's photo was my lock screen, tongue out. No idea his world was crumbling. It wasn't just that she was cheating. It was that somewhere out there, another person was describing my life better than I could. I didn't move for a solid minute. My brain just shut down, like a computer forced to install updates during a deadline. I reread the post 3 times. By the 4th, I wasn't breathing right. My palms were sweating so much my phone almost slipped. My first instinct was denial. This is the internet. People lie. People make up stories. I told myself there had to be some bizarre coincidence, some overlap of details that only seemed familiar. But then I made the mistake of checking the comments. Someone asked the poster, S, if the married man had a dog. She replied, yeah, golden. His wife treats the dog like their child, which I guess makes sense since she doesn't want kids. Ava had said those exact words to me 2 months ago, during one of her cold phases. Maybe Milo is enough. Some people don't need kids to feel complete. The phrasing wasn't just similar, it was identical. My heart was beating so loud my ears were ringing. I felt like the whole office could hear it. My coworker Sam walked by and asked if I was okay. I must have looked awful, because he didn't even wait for an answer. Just said, "Get some water, man," and walked off. Still, I tried to cling to logic. I told myself, don't assume. Don't blow up your life because of a Reddit post. So I did what any IT guy would do. I checked her location. Not spying. We share locations, always have. Trust thing. Or former trust thing. Her phone was at an address I didn't recognize. Not the gym. Not work. Not her best friend's place. A random apartment complex downtown. I stared at that location pin for a long time. My hands were shaking so badly I accidentally opened the Yelp page for the complex. Like reading reviews about how nice the parking lot was might change the situation somehow. I drove there. I should have gone home. I should have waited. But logic was already out the window. I got in my Civic and drove like my car was possessed. Every red light felt personal. Every slow driver was an insult. When I pulled into the lot, her car was right there. A blue Jeep with the dent on the back bumper she swore she'd get fixed next week. My entire chest went hot and cold at the same time. I don't know how to explain it except betrayal has a temperature. It burns and freezes. I walked up to the building, trying to look like a guy who belonged there. Heart hammering, hands shaking, vision all weird at the edges. Then, as if fate wanted to make everything worse, the front door opened. And out walked Ava. Not alone. She was with a man, tall, fit, messy dark hair, expensive-looking shirt. Way too casual, way too at ease. He said something to her that made her laugh. Not just any laugh. My wife's, "You're the funniest person alive" laugh. She touched his arm. He touched her lower back. They stepped into the sunlight like a matched set. I froze. Everything inside me froze. Ava saw me first. Her smile died instantly. She stopped walking, eyes wide, mouth open just enough for shock to slip through. "Ethan," she stuttered. "What are you doing here?" The guy looked confused for half a second. Then the recognition hit him. And I swear I watched the color drain from his face like someone pulled a plug. Ava took a step forward. Then another. Then she suddenly dropped her purse, like her hands just let go, and she rushed toward me. "Babe, please, this isn't. Let me explain." Her voice cracked. Mine didn't, because I didn't have one. She reached me, dropped to her knees right there on the walkway, grabbing my hands like she was praying to me. People stared. I couldn't speak. But she started talking anyway, fast and frantic, like if she made enough noise reality would change. "It's not what it looks like. Ethan, please believe me. It's just a coworker. It's a misunderstanding. I swear, nothing happened. Nothing." Her voice got higher and higher, more desperate, words tripping over each other. She was lying. Even she knew she was lying. Her eyes kept darting back toward him, and he was just standing there, frozen, silent, guilty. That was the exact moment I knew the Reddit post was real. She hadn't just cheated. She'd been cheating for months. With him. And she was only sorry because she got caught. I opened my mouth to speak. But the only thing that came out was, "Stand up." She did. Slowly. Shaking. The silence between us was louder than any shouting could have been. And then the world completely unraveled. Ava stood in front of me, shaking so badly her necklace kept tapping against her collarbone. She smelled like perfume, the expensive kind she only wore on date nights. My date nights. I didn't say anything for a while. I just stared at her. She did what guilty people do when silence gets too loud. She started talking fast, tripping over her own words. "Ethan, I swear on my mother, it's not what it looks like. He just needed help with a project. We were working on a client meeting. I didn't even know you were coming. Why are you even here? Why didn't you call? You're scaring me." Her voice was trembling, but her eyes weren't looking at me. They were looking everywhere except at me. Behind her, the guy, let's call him Liam, still hadn't moved. He was stiff, like he was hoping if he stayed perfectly still, he'd disappear. Ava must have sensed I wasn't buying anything she was selling, so she shifted into another tactic, one I'd seen a few times over the years, weaponized vulnerability. She grabbed my arm. Her nails dug in slightly. "Ethan, please, you know how stressed I've been. You know my job has been awful lately. I've been so overwhelmed and lonely, and you're always working, and I didn't want to bother you and..." Lonely. Overwhelmed. Blaming me by implication. There it was. I stepped out of her grip. Her whole face dropped like she'd been unplugged. Then she went to her knees again. This time harder, like she wanted to make it look dramatic. "Please, baby, please. I messed up. I know I messed up. I didn't mean for anything to happen. I didn't mean for you to get hurt. I swear I was going to end it. I swear. That was the first slip. I latched on instantly. In what, Ava? Her mouth opened, then closed, then repeated that motion like she was buffering. She hadn't expected me to catch it. Liam suddenly took a step forward. Maybe we should talk inside. No, I said, finally finding my voice. You stay right there. He froze. Ava looked between us like she was watching her whole life fall apart in slow motion. Okay, she whispered, trying to swallow her panic. Okay, I didn't mean that. I meant the project. I was going to end the project. Even she heard how ridiculous that sounded. I almost respected her commitment to bad improvisation. Almost. I took a deep breath. My chest hurt. My head hurt. My hands were numb. But I managed to get out. Ava, I know. She blinked rapidly. Know what? I read the Reddit post. Her face went from panic, confusion, recognition, horror, humiliation in the span of 5 seconds. She looked physically ill. Liam looked like he wanted to run into traffic. Ava's lips trembled. Ethan, that wasn't me. I swear. People make up stories on the internet all the time. Right? I said softly. And it was just a coincidence the post mentioned your job. And my job. And our dog. And our Friday night restaurant. And the initials. And the hair color. And the car. And your exact words about not wanting kids. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out except a pathetic sound halfway between a gasp and a sob. I knelt down, not to comfort her, but to look her in the eyes. Just tell me the truth. Her whole face crumpled. She grabbed my hand in both of hers, desperate, sweaty, shaking like she was holding on to a cliff. Okay, she whispered. Okay, I'll tell you everything. But please, not here. Please, Ethan. I'm begging you. Liam finally spoke, his voice cracking. Ava, maybe we should just. She spun on him with sudden fury, like a cornered animal. Quiet. He shut up instantly. Then she turned back to me, tears pouring now, mascara smudging, her voice raw and breathy. Please, Ethan, take me home. I'll tell you everything there. I promise. Just, please don't leave me here. Every fiber of me wanted to walk away. Drive off. Let the two of them sit in the wreckage. But I needed answers. I needed the truth from her mouth, not Reddit comments. So I stood up, looked at Liam, and said, You follow us, call her, text her, or breathe in her direction again. I will destroy your job, your reputation, and everything you care about. Do you understand? He nodded without blinking. Ava let out a shaky sob, grabbed her purse, and clung to me like she was afraid I'd vanish. We walked to my car. And over that short walk, from the apartment door to my Civic, I realized something. I wasn't just betrayed. I was humiliated, completely, profoundly humiliated. And that humiliation was turning into something dark. Not anger, not sadness, something colder, a sense of purpose. Because Ava wasn't ready to confess. But I was ready to finally hear it. And maybe, just maybe, make her feel what she made me feel. The car ride home was silent. One of those silences that feels physical, like a weight pressing against your ribs. Ava sat curled toward the passenger door, wiping her face non-stop, fingers trembling. I'd never seen her this shaken, not even close. When we pulled into our driveway, she didn't move, just stared ahead like she was gathering all her lies into a neat pile. Inside, I said. She nodded quickly, unbuckling so fast, she almost dropped her phone. We walked in, Milo trotted up happily, then stopped, ears back. Even the dog felt the tension. She went straight to the couch and sank to her knees again, like she was performing some ritual. Her mascara was smeared, her lipstick was gone, her hair was tangled from running her hands through it. She looked wrecked, but I'd seen her cry before. I knew the difference between genuine breakdown and panicked guilt. Start talking, I said. She looked up at me with huge, wet eyes. Ethan, please remember I love you. I need you to believe that before I say anything. That's not how this works. Start from the beginning. She swallowed hard, wiped her face with her sleeve, and took a shaky breath. Okay, it started a few months ago. At work. I didn't react. I just stared. She continued, voice shaky and too fast. There were late meetings and deadlines, and everyone was stressed. Liam and I were on the same project. We talked a lot. We vented. He made me feel understood. Understood. That cliché again. And one night after work, we were the last two in the conference room, and he leaned in, and I told him no. I swear I told him no at first, But then things just happened. Define happened. She flinched. It wasn't, it wasn't a big thing at first. Just talking. Being close. I felt noticed. And then one night we kissed. I leaned back, staring at her. Just a kiss. She hesitated. Too long. Answer. Her face crumpled. No, it wasn't just a kiss. I nodded slowly. Of course it wasn't. She kept talking, like if she stopped, she'd stop breathing. It wasn't planned. I swear. I didn't go looking for anything. But I felt so disconnected from us and so invisible at home, and I cut her off. We're not doing the part where you blame me. She snapped her mouth shut. Keep going. She looked down, voice barely audible. We met a few times. Sometimes at the office. Sometimes after work. He said he didn't want to break up your life or mine. He just wanted something exciting. And I told myself it wasn't serious. I told myself it wasn't hurting anyone. But it was serious enough to bring you to his apartment on a weekday morning? She winced. That was the first time we went there. I swear. Another lie. I saw it in her eyes. But I let her continue. And the Reddit post, I didn't write it. He wrote it. He made the account. He wanted to talk to people about what he was feeling because he said the guilt was eating him alive. I begged him not to post it, but he said he wanted advice, and I stopped her again. Wait. He wrote it? Yes. So he told strangers on the internet he was sleeping with a married woman? She nodded. And used every detail of our life like it was a TV script? She nodded again, crying harder. So he was proud enough to brag, but you still stayed with him? Ava finally lost it. I didn't stay with him. I told him it had to stop. I told him I loved you, and I didn't want to ruin everything we built, but you didn't stop. She pressed her palms to her face. Ethan, I tried. That's not trying. She looked up, mascara streaking her cheeks, breathing uneven. You don't understand how broken I was. My mom has been on me about babies. My dad lost his job and asked us for money. My sister keeps telling everyone our marriage is too quiet. And then your mom told me last month you deserve someone calmer. That hit me sideways. My mom said what? She nodded miserably. She said I'm too loud, too dramatic, that she always thought you'd marry someone more reserved. It crushed me. I didn't know whether to believe her, but the ache in her voice sounded real. My family, I asked slowly. What about them? Ava wiped her nose, exhaling shakily. My parents think you're too passive. They think I settled for someone who doesn't challenge me. My brother says you're boring. My dad said you read too much. I blinked. I read too much. She nodded, crying harder. They think you're weak. They think you can't handle me. And I started thinking maybe they were right. Maybe I needed someone more fiery. I stared at her. There it was. The skeleton in the closet. Her family had never liked me. Not for anything I did, but because I wasn't loud enough, messy enough, dramatic enough to fit into their chaos. I suddenly pictured every Thanksgiving, every barbecue, every time they made jokes about my job, or my glasses, or my calmness, and she'd laugh along. And she kept talking, voice breaking. But it wasn't you, Ethan. I swear it wasn't you. You're good. You're so good. Too good. And I ruined everything. She sobbed hard, doubling over. I regret it every second. I hate myself for it. I feel sick thinking about what I've done. Please, Ethan, please don't leave me. I will do anything. Anything. She crawled toward me on her knees again, clutching at my leg. Please, please. I can't lose you. Everything inside me felt ripped open. Because for the first time since this started, I believed she was sorry. But sorry doesn't undo betrayal. Sorry doesn't fix humiliation. Sorry doesn't erase months of lies. And I wasn't sure if sorry was enough to save anything anymore. Or if I even wanted it to. Because this was only part of the truth. And deep down I knew. There was more. Ava stayed at my feet, clutching my leg like she was afraid I'd melt into the floor. Her breath hitched in little gasps. Her hair stuck to her forehead, and she kept repeating, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Like the words might freeze time. I gently pulled my leg away. She collapsed onto her heels, staring up at me with the expression of someone watching their whole world slip through their fingers. Sit on the couch, I said. She scrambled up immediately, wiping her face, hiccuping, her hands shaking like she was hypothermic. She sat with her knees pressed together, back straight, like she was waiting for a verdict in court. I sat across from her, and I asked the question that made her flinch. How long, Ava? She opened her mouth, closed it, Opened it. Closed it again. Ava. She broke. Since March. March. It was October. 7 months. 7 months of lies. 7 months of gym bags and girl nights and late work meetings. 7 months of me making dinner alone while she was with him. 7 months of her climbing into bed smelling like new perfume and blaming it on Sephora samples. My stomach twisted. I kept my voice even. And he wasn't the first, was he? That was when something inside her shattered. She didn't answer at first. She didn't have to. Her face answered for her. I leaned forward. Ava, how many? She covered her face with both hands, shaking violently. Please don't make me say it. That means more than one. She let out this small, broken sound, part sob, part confession. Her hands slipped from her face. I wasn't faithful in the beginning, she whispered. A few months after we got engaged. I told myself it didn't count because it was before the marriage, and I thought I could bury it and start fresh, and I never wanted to hurt you. Ethan, I swear, I didn't. My throat tightened. I remembered our engagement year. We were living in a small apartment, barely affording groceries, planning a wedding we couldn't even pay for. I was working overtime constantly. She kept saying she felt lonely. I thought it meant she missed me, but apparently, it meant she found company elsewhere. She kept talking, words spilling out like she couldn't contain them anymore. And it wasn't serious. Any of it. It was stupid flirting, stupid decisions, and I told myself it was harmless because I loved you. And I thought once we got married, everything would settle, and that's not how integrity works. I cut in. She winced. And Liam? I asked. He was different? She nodded slowly. Yes. He made me feel alive. Like I was someone exciting again. Like a version of me I used to be. You weren't excited here? She sobbed. I was, Ethan. I am. I was scared. I was scared you'd get tired of me. Everyone kept saying you would someday. My mom said I was too dramatic for you. My sister said you'd leave eventually. Liam said you seemed distant sometimes, and I held up a hand. That's enough. She went silent immediately. I sat back, trying to breathe through the punches in my chest. Why now? I asked. Why stop now? Why tell me anything? She looked at me with raw terror. Because I thought I could control it. I thought I could end it before you found out. But then the Reddit post happened, and you showed up, and I realized I'd lost control. And I'm so ashamed. And I just want you back, Ethan. I want us back. Then she said something I will never forget. I want to be your Ava again. My Ava again. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, but because of how tragic the line was. You haven't been my Ava in a long time, I said quietly. You've been someone else entirely. She broke down again, clutching her chest like her heart physically hurt. Then, as if the universe wanted to twist the knife, her phone buzzed on the couch. She froze. I leaned forward slowly. Who was that? She stared at the screen like it was a bomb. It's my mom, she whispered. I raised an eyebrow. Put it on speaker. Her face went pale, but she obeyed, wiping her eyes and pressing the button. Hi, sweetheart. Her mom's voice chirped through the speaker, loud and oblivious. Is Ethan home? We wanted to talk to you both about the family trip. Your father wants to know if you should book the... Ava cut her off with a shaky voice. Mom, now isn't a good time. Why? What's wrong? Ava looked at me helplessly. I gestured for her to continue. Mom, she whispered, voice cracking. Ethan found out about everything. There was a pause. A long one. Then her mom sighed. Oh, Ava. I told you to be more careful. My mouth dropped open. Ava's eyes went wide with horror. Mom. Her mom kept going, voice frustrated. I told you not to mix your work life with your fun. This is exactly why. You make things complicated and dramatic, and now look. What did you expect him to do? Just ignore it? Ava covered her mouth with her hand, shaking. Her mom's voice continued, tone bordering on annoyed. Put Ethan on the phone. I need to explain a few things. I stared at the phone, stunned. Explain a few things? Like this was a parking ticket? Ava whispered, eyes huge, terrified. Please don't. Please don't talk to her. Please. I ignored her. I picked up the phone. Hello. Her mom cleared her throat. Ethan, dear. I know this is unpleasant, but marriages go through phases. Ava gets restless. She's always been like this. Very passionate. You know how she is. I didn't respond. She kept talking. And it doesn't mean she doesn't love you. She just has trouble with boundaries. You need to give her time to. I hung up. Ava gasped. Oh my gosh, Ethan, my mom she didn't mean it like that. But I wasn't listening. Because now it wasn't just Ava's betrayal. Now I knew something else. Her entire family had normalized her behavior. And suddenly, everything made sense. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a moment of weakness. This wasn't stress or loneliness. This was who she was taught to be. And for the first time, I wasn't sure I wanted to hear anymore. Because the truth wasn't just ugly. The truth was rooted. Ava stared at me like I'd just unplugged her life support. Her hands were shaking, her lips trembling, her whole body frozen in a posture that looked like she was waiting to be punished. But there was something else too. Fear mixed with shame? Maybe realization? She whispered, barely audible. You weren't supposed to hear that. No, I said calmly. I was supposed to stay ignorant. Her breath hitched hard. She stood suddenly, as if propelled upward by panic. Please let me explain. My mom didn't mean it. She's just old-fashioned. She doesn't understand relationships today. She grew up thinking mistakes should be handled privately and... Stop. She shut her mouth. I folded my arms. Ava, your mom didn't sound confused or old-fashioned. She sounded practiced. Ava looked like she'd been slapped. I continued, voice steady. She sounded like someone who wasn't surprised at all that her daughter cheated. Ava's mouth opened, then closed. She was drowning. She sounded, I added, like someone who's said this before. Ava blinked rapidly, her eyes welling again. My mom isn't perfect. My dad, he wasn't faithful when I was a kid. She stayed with him. She always said happiness meant learning to tolerate flaws. There it was, the family rule book. So she taught you cheating was normal. No, Ava burst out. She taught me surviving is normal. She taught me you can love someone and still make mistakes, and sleeping with someone for 7 months is not a mistake. Ava flinched like I'd stabbed her. She walked toward me again, slowly, cautiously, like I was a wild animal. Ethan, she whispered, I chose you. Out of everyone in the world, I chose you. I married you. I built a life with you. I didn't choose Liam. I didn't choose any of those stupid, meaningless mistakes. Then why did you keep choosing them? She froze. Her throat bobbed. She had no answer. Instead, she tried a new tactic, one I didn't expect. She wiped her face with both hands and suddenly grew defensive. I wasn't happy, Ethan. I narrowed my eyes. And that justifies betraying me? No, she whispered. But you act like you're perfect. Like you never made me feel alone. I stayed still. Say it. She swallowed. I felt abandoned. You always worked. You always had your head in your laptop or your books. You never wanted to go anywhere. You never got excited. You never. Oh, there it was. The rewrite of history. I leaned forward. I worked extra hours so we could afford your car. I worked weekends so we could move out of that tiny apartment you hated. I planned date nights. I took you on trips. I bought you concert tickets to bands I didn't even like. And you called me boring. Ava's face twisted. I didn't mean it like that. You flirted with bartenders in front of me and then told me I was too sensitive. She covered her face with her hands. Please stop. You told your sister I wasn't man enough for you. Ava choked on a sob. I was angry. I didn't mean it. I didn't. And yet, I said softly, you meant every word to Liam. She froze mid-sob. I continued. You told him you wished you'd met someone more exciting, more daring, someone who kept you on your toes. You told him you felt stuck with me. Ava looked like she wanted to disappear. She shook her head violently. No. Ethan, please, listen. I only said that because he pushed me. He asked me how it felt to be married so young. He said most couples our age get bored, and I just wanted to feel understood. By someone in his bed. She broke again, falling to her knees a third time, clutching my pants, voice cracking with panic. Please, Ethan, please. I'm begging you. I made mistakes, I know that, but I didn't mean any of it. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't think you'd ever find out. I swear. That's not helping your case. She gasped like the air had been punched out of her lungs. I stepped away from her, and she fell forward slightly, catching herself with her palms. She looked up at me with mascara-streaked cheeks and whispered, Do you hate me? I took a breath. A long, painful one. I don't hate you, Ava. Her eyes lit up with desperate hope. But I wasn't finished. I don't hate you, because I don't recognize you. Her face collapsed. You aren't the person I married, I said quietly. You're someone who lies until the truth corners you. Someone who's more afraid of being alone than being dishonest. She shook her head wildly. No, no, I'm still me. Ethan, please, don't say that, please. But I was done letting her control the narrative. Ava, I said softly, I'm going to pack a bag. She froze. Then she launched forward like she was going to grab me, arms out. No, no. Ethan, please don't leave. Please, I'll fix it. I'll do anything, anything. Just don't walk away from me. Her cries echoed through the living room, raw and panicked. But I walked past her, because in that moment, something inside me shifted. I was no longer begging for her honesty. She was begging for my presence. And worse, she didn't deserve it. As I reached the hallway, she yelled after me. If you leave, you'll regret it. I stopped, turned slowly, and what I saw wasn't anger. It was fear, pure, panicked fear. Because she realized one horrifying truth. For the first time in our entire marriage, I was the one with the power, and I wasn't going to give it back. I stopped mid-hallway after Ava screamed, if you leave, you'll regret it. But the way she said it wasn't threatening. It was terrified, like she was begging the universe not to take something from her that she had taken completely for granted. Her eyes were huge, glossy with tears, breaths coming out in fast bursts. She wasn't angry anymore. She was drowning. And for the first time since I'd found out, I wasn't the one choking on panic. I felt steady, clear, cold. Ava, I said calmly, regret comes from losing something meaningful. She made a sound between a sob and a plea. Please don't say things like that. Please, Ethan, just talk to me. We've been talking, I said softly. You just weren't telling the truth. She crawled toward me on her knees again, this time slower, more defeated, like her whole body weighed too much to carry. Please, she whispered, grabbing onto my pant leg again. I'll do therapy. I'll quit my job. I'll block him. I'll change my number. I'll delete every social media account. I'll do whatever you want. Just don't leave. Please. I didn't react. She kept going, voice breaking apart. I'll let you read every message I sent. I'll tell you where I am every second. I'll stay home. I'll let your mom move in. Just say something, Ethan. She was bargaining with her own dignity, and it was painful to watch, but not painful enough to make me stay. Stand up, I told her. She obeyed immediately, wiping her cheeks, stumbling slightly as she got to her feet. Walk with me, I said. She followed me down the hallway, quietly sobbing. We went into the bedroom, our bedroom, where the bed looked painfully intact, peacefully made, like a museum to a life that no longer existed. I began taking clothes from the dresser. Her breathing sped up. No, Ethan, please don't pack, please. I kept folding. She grabbed my wrist. Stop. I looked at her hand until she let go. Sit, I said. She sank onto the foot of the bed, shaking uncontrollably, hands clasped tight like she was praying. Ava, I said, you're not in a position to demand anything. And I'm not angry. I'm done. That hit her harder than shouting ever could. She covered her mouth and let out a long, broken sob. I can't do life without you, she whispered. I can't. I don't know how. I didn't look at her as I zipped the suitcase. You weren't doing life with me, I said. You were doing life around me. She doubled over, crying harder. You don't understand, she begged. I only ever wanted to be enough for you. But I always felt like you were too good, too kind, too patient. And I knew I wasn't that. I knew you'd realize one day that I wasn't worthy. I stopped packing, slowly turned to her. Ava, I didn't leave you because you weren't worthy. I'm leaving because you didn't believe you were worthy, and you acted on it. Her crying intensified, desperate and ugly. She grabbed at my arm, my shirt, anything she could hold on to. I'll change, Ethan. I swear I'll change. Just give me one chance. One real chance, please. And then she completely broke. She slid off the bed and onto the floor, forehead touching the carpet as she sobbed. I'm sorry. Please don't leave me, please. It was like watching someone collapse into themselves. I had to look away. For a long moment, the only sound was her crying. Then, through the muffled sobs, she whispered, What should I do for you to stay? I closed the suitcase. Nothing, I said gently. There's nothing you can do. She let out a sound so raw it made the hair on my arms stand up. She crawled to me again, holding onto my leg like I was the last stable object in her world. I can't lose you, she whispered. I can't lose us. I finally looked at her, really looked at her. This woman had been my world, my home, the person I thought I'd grow old with. And now she looked like a stranger wearing her face. I'm not punishing you, I said quietly. I'm saving myself. Her whole body sagged like those words physically hit her. And then, the front door opened. A voice called out, Ava, sweetheart, are you home? Ava froze, her face drained of color, because standing in our entryway was her sister, and her sister's face was full of smug satisfaction. I told you he'd find out eventually, she said loudly. Ava let out a horrified sob. Please, no, not now. I stared at both of them as realization hit. Her family didn't just know. They expected this. They'd been waiting for it. I zipped the suitcase, and Ava let out the most heartbroken sound I've ever heard. Ava's sister, Harper, strutted into the hallway like she owned the place. She didn't even look at Ava on the floor, mascara smeared, hands shaking, tears dripping onto the carpet. No concern, no shock, just judgment. She leaned against the doorframe with her arms crossed. Well, Harper said, I guess the universe finally caught up. Ava let out a strangled sob. Harper, please, please go. Please, not right now. But Harper wasn't interested in mercy. Oh, hush, she snapped. You made your bed. Literally. Multiple beds, apparently. Ava recoiled like she'd been slapped. I stood there frozen, suitcase in hand, staring at these two sisters, one broken, one practically smirking. Harper turned to me with a bright, almost cheerful voice. Ethan, I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time. Ava gasped. No. No. Harper, don't, please. Harper ignored her. She stepped closer to me, lowering her voice slightly. You're a good man, Ethan. Too good for her. Our mom told her so. Our dad told her so. I told her so. Ava let out a high, desperate wail. Stop, Harper, stop, stop, stop. Harper kept going, relentless, like she'd been rehearsing this speech for years. She was always going to self-destruct. She's been like this since she was a teenager. She gets attention, she gets bored, she panics, she sabotages everything good in her life, then she cries about it like she's the victim. Stop, Ava screamed, curling into herself on the floor. Stop, stop, please. Harper didn't even flinch. She just shrugged at me. We tried to warn her. She didn't listen. Ava screamed into the carpet, voice cracking so violently it sounded painful. I felt something inside me twist, some mixture of disgust, pity, shock, sadness, anger, all tangled together. Harper, I said quietly, you should leave. She raised an eyebrow. You're defending her now? I'm asking you to leave, I repeated. She scoffed, but turned to go, muttering as she walked down the hallway. Maybe next time she'll pick a man who isn't too smart to stay. Ava's sobbing intensified. Ethan, I can't. Why? Why would she? Why did she say? Because she wanted to hurt you, I said. Ava shook her head violently. She hates me. She's always hated me. She thinks I'm selfish. She thinks I'm dramatic. She thinks everything I touch breaks. Then she pointed at herself with trembling hands. And now she's right. I sat on the edge of the bed, not next to her, but close enough that she looked up at me with shattered eyes. Ethan, she whispered, voice hoarse, I'm begging you. Please don't let that be the last thing said about us. Please don't let Harper be the reason we end. Please, please don't leave. Not like this. I took a deep breath. I'm not leaving because of Harper. She blinked. But then why? I'm leaving, I said gently, because of you. Her face twisted in pain, tears rolling down her cheeks. But I can change. You can't, I said. But you won't be doing it with me. Her whole body shook. Ethan, I love you. You should have loved me when it mattered. That broke her. Fully. Completely. She curled into a ball on the carpet, sobbing so loudly that Milo came running in, confused and whining. He nudged her, licking her hand, unsure why his human was hurting. Ava wrapped her arms around him and sobbed into his fur. I'm sorry, Milo. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. I looked away, my throat tight. I grabbed the suitcase and headed for the front door. Behind me, Ava screamed. Not in anger, not in defense, but in raw terror. Ethan, please, please don't go. Ethan, 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 please, don't leave me. Please, please, please. Each plea was a punch to the ribs. But I kept walking. The door clicked shut behind me. Her screams were still audible through the wood. And with my suitcase in hand, standing under the cold porch light, I felt something I didn't expect. Relief. Not joy. Not triumph. Just relief. Like stepping out of a burning building and realizing you didn't even know you were choking. I walked to the car slowly, letting the night air wash over me, drowning out Ava's cries. And for the first time in our marriage, I felt like I had my life back. But I had no idea. The worst twist was still coming. I loaded the suitcase into the trunk with hands that were steadier than they should have been. Ava's screams had turned into hoarse pleading, then whimpering, then silence, like her voice simply gave out. I sat in the driver's seat for a moment, forehead resting on the steering wheel, trying to breathe normally again. The house behind me was dark and quiet now, except for Milo occasionally barking as if confused by the emotional wreckage inside. My phone buzzed. Once, then again, then several times in rapid succession. At first, I thought it was Ava. It wasn't. They were from numbers I didn't recognize. At least 15 messages in under a minute. My stomach tightened. I opened the first one. It was a screenshot. A text conversation. Between Ava and a man I'd never seen before. My heart stopped. The second message came in. You deserve the truth. I'm sorry for the timing. The third was a paragraph. Ethan, I found your number through a mutual friend. You don't know me, but Ava and I were involved earlier this year. I thought she told you the truth by now. I didn't know about Liam, or the guy before me, or the one before him. I'm so sorry. I opened the screenshot. My hands went numb. Underscore. Ava, he doesn't suspect a thing. He's too good. Too trusting. Unknown guy. Doesn't that feel wrong? Ava wrong? Maybe. But exciting? Absolutely. Another screenshot arrived. Ava, he's so routine. So predictable. I need passion. I need fire. Unknown guy. And he doesn't give you that? Ava, Ethan? No. He gives me stability. Comfort. But I feel trapped. Like living in beige. Beige. She compared me to a paint color. The next screenshot nearly made me sick. Ava, I'm scared he'll find out. Not because I'm guilty, but because I'm scared he'll leave. He won't yell. He won't fight. He'll just walk away. Quiet. That's worse than anger. My vision blurred. And then the final screenshot. The one that broke whatever remained of the man who married her. Unknown guy. Would you ever leave him? Ava, never. He takes care of everything. He's the best man I'll ever get. I just need extra. 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 I felt the words crawl under my skin like insects. I stared at the phone, my breath uneven, blood pounding in my ears. More messages came in from the unknown Cinder, this guy who decided to come clean. I didn't know she was married at first. She never wore her ring around me. I wouldn't have gone near her if I knew. She told me you were separated. Said you two were living together for convenience. When I found out she lied, I cut her off. She begged me not to tell you. Another message. I saw your post on Reddit an hour ago. I put the rest together. I hadn't posted anything. Not yet. Confusion hit me until I realized. Ava must have posted about me somewhere. Maybe trying to control the narrative. Maybe trying to play victim. Maybe trying to get strangers to tell her she wasn't a monster. My phone buzzed again. A voicemail this time. From Ava's mom. I didn't want to listen, but my finger pressed play anyway. Her mom's voice was frantic this time, not calm like before. Oh, Ethan, dear, things are messy here. Ava is completely hysterical. She said you left. She said she thinks you'll never come back. I know she's made mistakes, but you need to understand, she's fragile. She needs you. Don't do anything too drastic. Please call me back. I hung up. But before I could even process that, my phone lit up again. A text from Ava. The first coherent one since I walked out. One sentence. One I'll never forget. Ethan, if you leave me, I don't want to live. I stared at the message, stunned, horrified, angry, numb, all at once. And then a second message appeared. Please come home. Please. I'm scared. My mind raced. Was this manipulation? Panic? A real threat? A cry for help? All of the above? I sat there for a full minute, breathing hard, trying to untangle the knot in my chest. Then my phone buzzed again. A call. From her dad. I answered. Ethan, he said, voice shaky. Son, She's locked herself in the bathroom. Blood ran cold through my veins. My hand tightened around the steering wheel. She won't open the door, he continued. She keeps saying she ruined everything. She keeps saying she can't live without you. I tried talking to her, but she won't listen. You know how dramatic she gets. But this time, I don't know. She sounds different. My throat closed. Her dad exhaled shakily. She's asking for you. I closed my eyes. Because this wasn't about betrayal anymore. This wasn't about anger, pride, revenge, or closure. This was someone in crisis. Someone who had broken everything, but was now breaking herself too. I inhaled slowly, my pulse thudding in my ears. And I said the only thing I could say. I'm coming back. But as I turned the key in the ignition, I knew one thing for certain. Coming back didn't mean staying. I drove back to the house faster than I should have, heart pounding the whole way. I wasn't returning as a husband trying to save a marriage. I was returning as a human being trying to prevent a tragedy. As I pulled into the driveway, her dad was pacing on the porch, phone in hand, face pale and tight. He pointed toward the house without saying anything. I rushed inside. The bathroom door was locked. Ava was sobbing inside, loud, broken, panicked sobs that rattled the walls. Please, please, don't leave me. Please. I can't breathe. I can't. Ethan, answer me, please. Her voice cracked so violently that for a moment, my heart stopped. Ava, I said gently. I'm here. Everything inside the bathroom went quiet. Then a tiny, fragile voice. Ethan, yes. Open the door. There was a click. The door cracked open an inch. Then 2 inches. Then she stepped into the hall. Her whole body was trembling. Her face streaked with tears. Her knees weak. Her hands shaking so hard, she had them pressed against her chest. I didn't do anything, she whispered immediately, terrified. I swear. I just panicked. I couldn't breathe. I thought you were gone forever. I thought I destroyed everything. Her dad sighed with relief and backed away, giving us space. Ava looked up at me like I was the only thing keeping her alive. She reached out, very slowly, like she was afraid I'd vanish. I took her hands, not to hold them, but gently to lower them. And then I said softly, Ava, I'm not leaving you alone, but I'm also not staying married to you. She froze. More tears rushed out, but this time she didn't break down screaming. She didn't collapse. She didn't beg. She just sagged silently, like someone unplugged her spine. She whispered, Can you sit with me? Just for now, please? So we sat, on the hallway floor, backs against opposite walls. Between us was a stretch of old hardwood that felt like a different planet. She cried quietly this time, tired, drained tears. I just breathed, for the first time in what felt like days. When she could finally speak again, she said, You deserved someone better than me. Someone who didn't need attention. Someone who didn't break when life got too quiet. Someone who wasn't me. I didn't argue. I didn't comfort her. Because sometimes the truth doesn't need to be softened. After a long silence, she whispered, Are you going to hate me forever? No, I said, but I'm going to let you go. She closed her eyes and nodded slowly, like each nod hurt. Understood. _________________________________________________________________________________________________ 3 weeks later, I moved into a small apartment downtown. 1 bedroom. Cheap furniture. A plan I'm trying very hard not to kill. Ava stayed in the house. She started therapy, real therapy. Her dad updates me sometimes. Apparently, she hasn't missed a session. She wrote me a letter. I didn't respond. Not because I'm cruel, but because she needs to heal without me being the crutch she clings to. Her sister Harper texted me once. I blocked her immediately. Her mom called and insisted Ava's behavior was typical youthful chaos. I hung up. Instead of spiraling, I started rebuilding. I picked up new hobbies. Cycling, photography, volunteer work on weekends. I even booked a solo trip, Colorado in the spring. Long hikes, quiet mornings. No beige, just mountains and sky and time that belongs only to me. I sleep better now. I laugh more. I eat real meals instead of stress snacks. I even found myself flirting awkwardly with the barista near my new place. Nothing serious, just human. Healing. 1 month after the divorce filing, Ava sent one last message through her dad. Tell him, Thank you for walking away instead of screaming. Tell him, I'm trying to become someone I can live with. Tell him I'm sorry enough for a lifetime. I didn't reply, not because I'm angry, but because forgiveness doesn't require reopening the wound. Today, I'm sitting at a cafe with my laptop, writing this for Reddit, because this place weirdly became the start of everything unraveling, and also where I found the courage to rebuild. I'm not bitter. I'm not broken. I'm not even particularly sad anymore. What I am is free, not from Ava, but from the version of myself who thought love meant tolerating everything. If you're reading this and you're where I was, hurt, confused, humiliated, here's what I learned. You don't heal by punishing the other person. You heal by choosing yourself. Quietly, firmly, completely. And when the time comes, you walk away with your dignity and never look back. I have many other stories. Go to my channel, subscribe so you don't lose us. Give me a thumbs up.